Can we please have just a little invitation to Nikki? She wants to share. Sorry to put you on the spot, Nikki. Anyway, Nikki just wanted to share a little something with you guys that I think is meaningful, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just going to let you take over. Here we go.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nikki Eisfeld, and I graduated high school with some of you and Casey. And I'm just gonna go ahead and read through this. When Casey and Monty asked if I'd speak tonight, I'll be honest, I didn't want to. I wanted to want to. I told them I wish I could, but every time I tried to speak about Mia, especially in front of a group of people, I cried. How embarrassing it would be to stand up here and cry, right? Truthfully, I'm also afraid to speak in public. I wasn't planning on speaking, but this morning when I woke up, I saw that the sun was out, and mixed with some of the rain that we've been having, I knew the rainbows would be out today, and Mia would be here. I'm going to try and be strong and brave like Mia and get up here and honor her today. I met Mia in early 2010 after I reconnected with Casey through Facebook and agreed to run a marathon with Team Mia and the Rally Foundation. I soon discovered that the twins and my own daughter Addison were all around the same age. The team met at Casey and Lonnie's house to talk fundraising for the season. This was the first time I met Lonnie, Noah, and Mia. At that point, Mia had been home from the hospital for a few months and was in remission. She was starting to get some of her hair back and seemed like any other 3-year-old. Boy, was I wrong. I never imagined I would be part of such an inspiring journey. Training and running a marathon with Casey was quite an experience. He said he'd never run a race before, so in my head I was feeling pretty confident that I could keep up with him. Although I'd never run a marathon, I'd run a half marathon and other 5 and 10K races, and had been running regularly for the last few years. It seemed I had a leg up on him. I did keep up with him on the first practice, and maybe 1 or 2 after that. He soon became a runner, and a good one, and the only time we ran together was when he was warming up. I would say, "Really, Keith, you don't have to run with me." And he would reply, "No, this is good, I need to take it slow today." Pretty soon I would chime in again and say, "Really, you can go," and he would chuckle and almost literally leave me in the dust. Running really isn't my sport. It seems that everything about this body hates to run. I have a knee that never stops hurting, stomach issues after 10 miles that can only be cured with Imodium or a porta potty at every turn of course. I won't go into detail. Even with all of that, it could never amount to what Mia was going through. There's a picture of Mia that I keep in my head when I'm running and feeling it. She's sleeping in a hospital bed with rainbow tights, a scantily clad head of hair, and tubes streaming from her little body. If she can do that, I can do this. In 2010, we ran the Seattle Rockwell Marathon in honor of Sweet Mia. Casey finished in something like 3 hours and 56 minutes, an amazing time for anyone, let alone someone who had never run a marathon before. He was so determined, such a proud dad, running for his beautiful daughter. I finished in 6 hours and 7 minutes, and Mia is the only person who kept me going in that race. In December 2010, just after Christmas, Mia relapsed. To be honest, I could hardly believe it. Just a few weeks earlier, Addison and I had celebrated the twins' 4th birthday with them. They both seemed healthy and normal, just didn't understand. I really thought, she'll be okay. We'll figure out what to do, and we'll treat her, and she'll be okay. Over the next year and a half, Mia was the first person I prayed for in the morning. and the first person Abby and I prayed for every night before we went to sleep. She was amazing, smiling all the time, laughing, dancing, amazing doctors and her parents, and most of you. She showed more strength and bravery than anyone I've met. Like many of you, I faithfully followed Casey and Lonnie's Praying Bridge blog. I wanted to share some of my favorite portions of some of their posts. But first are a couple portions from some of Casey's posts. June 28, 2011. Today, Mia was acting a little different, in a good way. Out of nowhere, Mia would say, "Daddy, I love you," and run over and give me a hug. It happened multiple times throughout the day. I loved it. It made me so happy to stop what I was doing and just enjoy the moment. It also made me feel sad. I started thinking about all we've been through, what Mia's been through, how many friends we've lost along the way, and how hard each day is. I also realized that sometimes I just need to slow down and pay more attention to the small things, the little subtle moments that come and go. You can't redo that stuff, it just happens. You either catch it or it's gone. Weehoo! So a few weeks ago, Lonnie and I decided to buy this bike attachment called a Weehoo. The Weehoo attaches to my seat post, has a bucket seat with pedals and a rear wheel, a little different than a typical bike trailer. So yesterday I finally dug out the tools needed to attach the Weehoo to my bike. Keep in mind, Mia had a busy med schedule along with maintenance, fluids, and feeds throughout the day. It takes some thought and planning to make an adventure like this happen. Well worth it. Mia was so excited as I was setting up the Weehoo. She couldn't stop telling me how cool or awesome this thing's going to be as she was pacing back and forth, asking me if we were ready to go yet. It totally reminded me of being a kid and being super excited about a new adventure. I got Mia strapped in and we were off. Immediately she began laughing and saying, "Woohoo, this is so fun, Daddy." It was classic. She had such a good time. We went for a decent ride down the Brookhaven Trail. Mia kept telling me, "I'm not even scared, Dad, go faster." I was seriously laughing. She definitely has a daredevil streak in her. She wanted me to find a hill to go down and was upset when I told her we weren't staying on the trail. Every person she saw walking a dog, she'd say, "Oh, so cute." As we were riding by. People walking their dogs got a laugh out of it. Pretty funny. Mia also thought we were racing the other bikers on the trail. She kept telling me, "Daddy, I'm doing the gas to help you go faster." I laughed and told her, "Try pedaling if you want to win the race." She had fun. My legs and back got sore. It was well worth it, and I look forward to doing it again. September 5th, 2011. This evening, Mia and I went for our nightly walk on the Brookhaven Trail. On the way back to our McDonald house, I went through the nearby neighborhood and realized it's a holiday weekend. Seems like every other house was having some sort of get-together with parents and kids hanging outside, playing and talking, enjoying the long weekend. I wish we could take the kids somewhere for a vacation or trip, or skip town for a long weekend like a normal family. Summer is passing us by, and Mia will be starting a new phase of therapy soon. She'll need to stay close to the hospital, probably in the hospital due to low counts, blood transfusions, regular checkups. Mia hasn't even gone home to Olympia since last December. The twins' birthday is in 3 months and they'll be 5. It's crazy to think about how insane the last 2.5+ years have been. This next post is actually a poem that Lonnie shared by Juliet Freitag. It's called "The Strength of an Egg." Parents of children with cancer are often referred to or viewed as having strength like a rock. Albeit flattering, it isn't quite true. It's more like the strength of an egg. An egg, you ask? Yes, an egg. If you think about an egg, you will see the point of an egg. An egg has a polished, smooth outer appearance with no cracks or weak spots visible. It seems almost inconceivable that the inside might not be as smooth and solid as the outside. Most children, at some point in their lifetime, are shown the famous egg trick. An egg, set at just the right angle, can withstand enormous amounts of pressure and cannot be cracked or broken. Yet the same egg, tapped gently at even a slightly different angle, will break. The contents, once so neatly concealed inside, will come spilling out, and the no longer perfect shell will be crushed. Then the shell looks so fragile that it seems inconceivable that it ever held any strength. That is where parents of children with cancer are more like eggs than rocks. A rock is solid all the way through. If you tried to break a rock, it would be almost impossible. If successful, one would find that there was nothing inside but more rock. It takes a lot more pure hardness to hold the hand of hope. These parents are not solid all the way through. They hurt, they fear, they cry, they hope. It takes a very careful balancing act to keep the shell from being shattered. Balancing an egg while running a household, going for doctor visits and hospital stays, keeping the family together, and holding on to the constantly unraveling ties of your sanity can be very tricky indeed. Occasionally, the angle will be off and the shell will break, shattering hope and the neatly secured appearances of a truly fragile existence. Unlike Humpty Dumpty, though, parents of kids with cancer will pick themselves up and put themselves back together. Casey and Lonnie are two of the most amazing parents I've ever met. They did that balancing act for almost 3 years. 46 kids each school day in the United States are diagnosed with childhood cancer. Let's help Friends of Mia help other families currently doing the balancing act. I am honored that Casey and Lonnie asked me to speak. I'm honored you invited me to be a part of this journey, and I'm thankful that you're a part of mine.